Hey, this is your coach, the Locksmith. Hey, you already know why I am not showing my face. Today, I'm making one of my most important videos about seduction probably. I'm teaching you how to start a conversation the best way possible. So many guys think about seducing a woman but don't even think about how they are going to start their game, which is kind of surprising when we really think about it. A seduction has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And despite of what most people think, the two most important parts are the beginning and the end. Like we say, you only have one chance to make a good first impression. So don't ruin it. The very first sentence that you're going to say to a woman is going to set up an environment. A whole environment. That's literally what we're talking about. So trust me, you don't want to ruin it, and you don't want to go loosely either. You've probably ever heard, if not even said yourself, some opening sentences like calling the woman and telling her how charming she is, or how she caught your eye, or stuff like that, which is okay. We all make mistakes in life. Actually, it's not even that much of a mistake. It all depends on how you're going to say it, but we're going to get into it a little later. But what you want to do is to create an environment and a dynamic. Right from the start, you have to make her understand one thing, and that's the most important thing that you want to transmit to her. This thing is that you are not impressed by her. No matter what you're going to tell her, you're just not going to be impressed. And you're not going to act like she's above you in some kind of way. You don't want to come up to her hesitant, doing so you can literally go back to where you're from, really. But you don't want to come up to her starting a fight or a heated argument or something like that either, to try to impress her like I've seen some guys doing, because that means that you try to prove something. That might work from time to time with a low self-esteem woman, because she would feel like, oh, he's not hesitant, he's not scared to talk to me. But a real confident woman will respond, you're like, what is this guy? What does he want? It's not how you go to talk to somebody. And she will reject you before you even start your second or third sentence, really. No, what you want to do is to make her understand that no matter what position you're going to put yourself into, you're just not going to be impressed by her. Not even a single bit. And that's totally okay if you're being in the position of the hunter. See, there's a difference between, hey, can I talk to you, please? Yeah, I think you look pretty good, and I was wondering if you would mind if we could go dance together. And, hey, how are you? You look incredibly good. Why don't you come dance with me? See, it's a whole different type of vibe. Even if you ask for a certain type of permission, which is so not what I recommend, I actually totally disrecommend that completely. But I did that on purpose to make you realize that even by doing so, if you put your mind into thinking that she is never, ever, ever going to impress you just by how good she looks, right away, you make her understand that you are too interesting and too valuable for that. Probably because of the exciting life that you live, run by the exciting personality that you have. Boom! Environment. Right from the start, you force her to make a choice. Are you gonna pass on a man with an exciting personality who may have an exciting life already, or will still have one? Yes or no? She will understand that if she gives you a shot, she may win something big. And if she doesn't, you will just go back to your life like almost nothing happened. So you didn't lose anything. And if you don't lose anything, she's probably the one who does. Right, folks? So before you even knowing what to say, you should always make her understand that you are above her, just by the attitude that you have. That goes along with a proper body language, relaxed posture all the time, non-hesitating looks, etc. I talk a lot about it in my ebook, The Ultimate Key of Seduction. You already know that. But what you need to understand is that women secretly want to find men worth chasing. Why? Because that means that those men are so valuable that they can make those women benefit from that. Be that type of man. Okay, but to make sure that you have the best way to open a conversation, let's focus now on what you're going to say. Contrary to what I said earlier in the example, the very last thing that you want to say is asking for any type of permission or even being in this position of it. Again, I did that in my example just to show you how the right environment that you show off can overcome anything. But in any ways, this type of environment is very unlikely to make you ask for permission. No, what you want to do is to jump right into a conversation. You don't need to say hello. You don't need to compliment her or whatever. No, what you want to do is to start the conversation literally as if it had already started much before, or even as if you already know each other very well. This will make her feel comfortable, as you will sound familiar to her. And thanks to that, you will bring her guards down. And you can play on that. Like approaching her like you guys are kind of close already, so you guys confess visions about life to each other, or like the woman already likes you, one of my favorite. Whichever one, but just do it. It works like magic. Because what you're doing is that you play on the second aspect of the approach. You create a dynamic. It's extremely hard to go against a dynamic, especially if you were not ready to do so. Like, for example, just imagine that you are at the bar having a drink, and which one are you more likely to respond? First option is I poke you on your shoulder and I go like, hey, John, can I talk to you for a minute? Okay, let me introduce myself. My name is Locksmith, and I give tips about seduction, and I really feel like you have a pretty good style, and would you mind if I give some to you? And I walk up to you straight up and I go like, I know you try to seduce some women, and I have a bunch of tips that can make you go to the next level. I feel like you have the potential to make it big, and I'm open to share those tips with you. What do you say about that? It's not even close. Of course you're going to pick the second one. You will feel intrigued. You will feel interested. I brought some value without even asking you any permission. You create a dynamic. But whichever you decide to go for, just make sure you never, ever reflect an impressed attitude. Never place her above you, and never ask or put yourself in a position of asking for permission. I give several examples of opening sentences in practical cases in my ebook if you want to have some tips about it or some help. Go out there, try it right now. It just works. So it was your video about how to open a conversation a right way. If you enjoyed it, if you thought it was useful, you can click the like button or subscribe. Don't forget, if you subscribe, you have 25% off on your ebook, which is already cheap, but you know, it's your first present of 2021. Don't forget, no woman is supposed to resist around you.